Zantac and Pepsi, etc. These would be good to take with you. But if you don't take them, obviously they are available, but it's good to be prepared. Clothing. Comfortable, modest clothes like Isha means, as well as the Saudi clothes, are ideal, recommended for men. Women wear the normal comfortable clothes. Avoid nylon clothing as it tends to be uncomfortable in hot weather. Basically, cotton clothing which is breathable, it allows air to get in and allows you, it allows you to stay cool. A warm jacket, especially for Medina at Fajr time during cold months. Like I said, it tends to get cold at Fajr time in Medina. To a degree that sometimes you will be shivering at Fajr time. It's very surprising, but it happens this time of the year in Medina. And there's always this kind of breeze blowing. Okay? And actually poets always talk about that breeze of Medina in their poetry. It's a very unique thing, and it's a very beautiful thing, and it's wonderful to experience. Slipper socks or rubber slippers are useful tawaf and sa'id, except tawaf al-qudum, and it's sa'id when you will be in a state of ihram. Okay, so what happens is, when you're performing tawaf and sa'id, the floor is very, very hard. And if you're not wearing anything, what happens is that your feet will start splitting up, especially from your heel. So try to either wear some socks or these special slippers that are for, that you can use for tawaf. There's these special kind of sneakers that you get nowadays that actually mold around your feet. I'm sure you've seen them. That are, basically you put your toes inside and the shape of your toes is prevalent too. So those are useful for tawaf when you're not in a state of ihram. When you're in a state of ihram, you're not allowed to wear these. But when you're making other tawaf, nafil tawaf, etc., then you can wear these. So there's not a problem with that. So there's an example of that, rubber sole slippers for tawaf.
Is it the same rule for ladies also?
Question?
Is there the same rule for women?
Women?
Covering for the foot?
Yeah, women actually, they wear their normal clothing. There's, at all times. They don't have a special set of clothing in ihram. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, inshallah.
Can they wear socks?
Yeah, women can wear socks. Okay, what do you take for ihram for men? Ihram towels. Okay, ihram towels, and they're using the word towels here, because the best kind of material for ihram is towel material, because it absorbs your sweat. You can use ordinary cloth too, but it won't be very absorbent, and what's going to happen when your body gets wet, then it becomes see-through. Alright, so ihram towels, they are the best for men. They should be basically unstitched towels. And if you're actually going from here to Medina first, then you don't have to have the ihram with you. You can actually purchase it from there, because you're not going to be in a state of ihram. Who's going to Medina first? Okay, quite a few people going to Medina first. Okay, the people who are going to Jeddah, they have to have the ihram with them. Okay, because they're going to wear it on the way. But the people going to Medina first, they can basically purchase the ihram from Medina. It's not really expensive. Okay, slippers. This picture, it says all three are actually okay for ihram. But in Hanafi fiqh, only this flip-flops are permissible. Anything that covers the top of the foot is not permissible for ihram according to Hanafi fiqh. And the others, according to other fuqaha, they allow these slippers even though it covers the top of the foot. They allow. Okay, so there is a difference of opinion about that issue. Travel belt, it is for the money, etc., that you are going to take with you. Buy a travel belt that is not too conspicuous. It's not like both. It is flat across your body. That is the best kind of travel belt. Or Hajj belt, anything. Safety pins to secure ihram towels, you're allowed to do that. Unscented petroleum gel. Apply between the thighs to prevent skin rash while in ihram. This is a big problem for men. What happens is that because they have their naked legs, what happens is their legs are rubbing against each other. And when the thighs are rubbing against each other, you're walking for miles and miles, all that area becomes very every day, and it starts to hurt like crazy. So you'll see men basically walking, waddling along like ducks because their inner thighs are basically sore. So the best way to prevent that is to put this Vaseline on before going for a walk while in the state of Ihram. When you're in your normal clothes, it doesn't make any difference because your thighs are not rubbing against each other. But in the state of Ihram, your thighs are naked, and because of that, they're rubbing against each other, and it can become very, very painful. So using petroleum jelly Vaseline is useful to get rid of that. For the night of Muzdalifah, basically, Muzdalifah, you're out in the open air. So what you need is a sleeping pillow, a towel pillow, and a blanket to cover yourself and to maybe put on the floor while sleeping. That's the night of Muzdalifah. Okay? So inflatable camping pillow or a towel pillow, you will need that to lean on when going to sleep. You're basically going to be in the open air. And try to get also a foam camping mat, or you can call it what's called a yoga mat, okay? Which are used, you can buy that maybe from sports shops. A blanket, sleeping bag, 2-person tent for cold months only. I don't think that's necessary actually. Some people do have it for privacy, especially for ladies, etc. But you know, it's not really that necessary. Face masks, small MP3 player with the Quran, colored packing tapes, eye shades, earplugs. This is very important. Some people underestimate the importance of this. And actually, I have a habit of having earplugs wherever I travel, even in America, because what happens is you go to the hotels and people are banging on the doors and coming in late at night, and sometimes early in the morning the people start cleaning and they're disturbing you like crazy. So you just put earplugs on and it basically, you're not disturbed by these kinds of noises. So also what happens is in Hajj, people are going to be talking and chatting maybe, and maybe reciting Quran, coming in and out. There's going to be, especially in Muzdalifah, you're going to have the buses honking their horns. So if you really want to sleep, the only way that you're going to sleep is by putting some kinds of earplugs in. So try to take some earplugs with you. Travel alarm clock. I don't think you really need that because usually people will wake you up. Flashlight, that's useful for Muzdalifah. And a drawstring backpack to carry shoes and slippers. Usually what happens is your travel agent provides these for you. Most of these things. Small drawstring bag for pebbles. And also a Tawaf Sa'id bead counter, if you can get this, basically 7 beads to help you do the Tawaf, and so that you don't lose count. I'll give you a tip for that actually later on. For communication, cell phones, if you have a quad band cell phone which is unlocked, quad band, basically the kind of band, the phone that runs on international GSM bands. That is the phone that will run and it will work in Saudi Arabia. Okay? So basically all the modern phones which are unlocked. So if you have an iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, and they are unlocked, you can use them. You can just purchase a SIM from them and use them over there. Okay? Or if you don't want to do that, phones can be purchased quite easily in Makkah and Medina for not very expensive prices. Okay, you can buy SIM cards which are Saudi Telecom, Mobili, Zain, Sawa from Saudi Arabia, and never buy anything from the airport workers though. You know what happens is when you land at the airport, people will try to sell you SIM cards. You know, more often than not, they are reliable, they do work, but you know, just in case it doesn't work, and or for example, the guy tells you that it has 200 riyal credit in it, and it doesn't have any credit. Basically, it's what you call here pay-as-you-go SIMs. So you take it and you find out it doesn't have credit. Where are you going to go find that diamond? If you purchase it from a shop downstairs, you can go downstairs and tell him that doesn't have credit, right? So avoid purchasing things from the airport, these SIM cards. Okay, a lot of patience, keep most of it towards the end, that's when you will need it most. Do not get angry. Irritating and misguided behavior, you're going to see it. Try to change it with wisdom and nice words if you can control yourself, otherwise keep silent. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you patience. Be positive, hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. Okay, be prepared for the worst. It's very important. If you think that, okay, I'm going with Darul Salam, it's going to be very smooth and it's going to be easy. Yes, Darul Salam, as an agency, they are very, very reliable and they do take care of their Hujjaj very well. But unforeseen circumstances, anything can pop up. So, like they say, as advice is, be prepared for the worst. Okay? Have only one concern: when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept my Hajj, and focus on the prize, paradise. Okay. These things are, extra. I'm just going to rush through them. The days of Hajj, keep that in mind. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th of Dhul Hijjah. These are the actual days of Hajj. 8th of Dhul Hijjah, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. The last 3 days, 11th, 12th, and 13th, are known as the days of Tashriq. Okay, most Hajj packages consist of 3 periods: the stay of Medina, stay in Mecca, and the Hajj days. Okay, so some people, they will go to Medina, some people will go to Mecca first. Irrespective of where you go first, the Hajj days are going to be done. Everyone is going to be doing the Hajj at the same places. Okay, so my recommendation for people always is go to Medina first, and that's again my opinion. I've always gone to Medina first, and the reason for that is the customs, the immigration, is very, very quick in Medina. It takes about 15-20 minutes. Seriously. From the time the plane lands until your customs are cleared, it takes 15 to 20 minutes. And in many cases, you go out and your bag hasn't even come into the other side of the terminal. You have to wait for the bag. That's how quick it is. In Jeddah, I've heard horror stories of 12 hours, 24 hours. People are just stuck at the airport. And recently, things have started improving, but still, I don't recommend Jeddah because of the long wait times. Okay, so in any case, whichever place you go first, the main thing is that the Hajj days, you're going to be in the same place. Okay, now, if Mecca is your first step, then you assume ihram for Umrah before landing in Jeddah. Jeddah is beyond the miqat. Okay, so say for example, you're going from here to Dubai, or here to Frankfurt. Alright, Frankfurt, there's a stop, or here to Amsterdam, and then from there to Jeddah. So before you get onto the plane for the second leg of the trip, you just put the sheets on. Notice I said put the sheets on, and I didn't say start ihram, because your ihram actually doesn't start until you make the intention. Right? So put the sheets on so that you are ready to make the intention when you get close to the miqat. So it's going to be at least, for example, if you're going from Frankfurt, it's going to be at least 4 hours still remaining for you to get close to the miqat. Miqat is the boundary that you're not supposed to cross while not being in a state of ihram. You have to be in ihram before crossing the miqat. So wherever you are, whether you're in Dubai is actually closer. Like an hour before you land, in all circumstances, what's going to happen? The pilot is going to announce that we are about to cross the miqat. Be ready. Okay, be ready and make the intention for ihram. At that point, you start to make the intention by saying the talbiyah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, inna al-hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk, la sharika laka. And it is recommended for you to pray 2 rak'at at that time. And before applying, before putting on the ihram, or before the intention, you can put some perfume on. But once you make the intention for ihram, then that's it. The restrictions of ihram have started to apply. So from that point on, no perfume, no cutting hair, no clipping nails. Men cannot cover their head. The head has to be uncovered. And you're basically going to be in this state of only putting 2 sheets on, no stitched clothing, no socks, okay, and that includes basically no underwear for men, okay? So you're only wearing those 2 sheets of ihram for men. The women's clothing is basically their normal Islamic clothing, and of course try to keep it as comfortable as possible. Cotton clothing is the best kind of clothing for the heat. But all the restrictions of ihram apply for the sisters also. No perfume, no cutting nails, no cutting hair, and no talk of intimacy, even between husband and wife. Intimacy, basically talking of romantic stuff, you know, even though it's halal in other circumstances, but in the state of ihram, it's not permissible. Not allowed to talk about that while in the state of ihram. So